Welcome to Somerset Showcase. Today we're going to be talking about keeping our town beautiful through cleanups and different projects around town through a new initiative that has been started by Heather Robertson, who has started a chapter in Somerset, and we are here today with her and with Neil Rhein, who is the executive director of Keep Massachusetts Beautiful. So welcome. And can you tell me about Keep Somerset Beautiful and what you're going to be doing with that chapter?
Yeah, so thanks for having us, George, and thanks for coming down from Mansfield, Neil. So I live in Somerset. I moved here about 6 years ago, and prior to living in Somerset, I lived in the Metro West area, where I noticed some groups around town called Keep Natick Beautiful, and it was a group that was very active in town and constantly finding ways to beautify the town center, waterways. Like there was a beautiful pond that would, collect some trash or whatever, and they'd have separate trash bins, and so it was really great to be able to see a community group gather so much attention in town and create so much benefit. And so I moved to Somerset, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have something similar here in Somerset, Massachusetts, where I was fresh, new to town. But I moved here when I was 38 weeks pregnant. So while this idea was in my mind, I was in no position in my life to start it right away. So I've had this idea for now about six years since I moved here. And about a year ago, I reached out to Neil, and I said, hi, I'm Heather. I'm on the Economic Development Committee here in town, and I think that Keep Massachusetts Beautiful is a wonderful thing, and how can we bring it to Somerset? Because not only does it help to create a more beautiful area in which we can, live, laugh, have fun, bring in people from neighboring towns. Hopefully they want to spend their money while they're here, and it can help create economic growth as well. So sort of tying it into the Economic Development Committee, I called Neil, and he started about a year ago, I think, giving me the information I needed to start the chapter here in Somerset. So that's sort of how Keep Somerset Beautiful came to start growing. And then about a month ago, I created these lovely brochures, and I've started handing them out at local events. So I was at SOAM a couple of weeks ago, the cardboard regatta, and I've also been stopping by various places within Somerset. So I was at the Congregational Church on County Street. I met with Lisa. She was really excited to get these brochures started to hand out, and the pastor would, speak to the congregation. And I've been in contact with the Somerset Lions Club. The Democratic Town Committee reached out to me, and so we're setting up meetings there to go and speak about the chapter as well.
And those brochures were printed by Mallard Printing, where Economic Development Committee member Jeff Marks is one of the owners.
Correct.
He does a lot of good things for the town.
He does. He definitely does. So we have this brochure. It has a lot of information about why get involved, volunteer opportunities, spreading the word, our mission, and I would love to continue dropping them off at local businesses. If anybody would like a handful of them, I'd be happy to stop by and drop some off.
So this is just starting in Somerset, but can you tell me about Keep Massachusetts Beautiful and when that started?
Yeah, sure. Well, it started for me personally in Mansfield, similar to Heather. As the case in most of our local chapters are, I just kind of got fed up with all the litter I was seeing in Mansfield, and my wife uttered the prophetic words of, rather than just complaining about it, why don't you do something about it? So that's really kind of been our mantra ever since. So we started Keep Mansfield Beautiful in 2008, and we organized a community cleanup, as I know you were organizing one soon. And we thought, well, if we get 100 people, this would be a great turnout. We ended up with like 600 plus, and we've had that every spring since. So, so that led to the formation of Keep Mansfield Beautiful. And then after about 5 years, it kind of struck me. I would go to the annual conference that's held by Keep America Beautiful, which is a national organization. And I'm the only person there from Massachusetts, year after year. And I'm like, why isn't anyone in Massachusetts doing anything about the tons of litter that are everywhere on our highways, our local roads, virtually everywhere you look. So that's in 2014 launched Keep Massachusetts Beautiful to try to bring this model of local chapters like Keep Somerset Beautiful and Mansfield and so forth to other communities. So we currently have 42 local chapters around the state and growing. We're in Salem, Worcester, Barnstable, Mansfield, Attleboro, and what tends to happen, Natick, you mentioned, what tends to happen is we get these little clusters of chapters because people are going to see soon what all the great things happening in Somerset, and then maybe the neighboring communities will look around and say, how come we're not doing this in our towns? And then that's how it kind of spreads. So that's been the evolution, and we're growing and working on a statewide public service announcement video, which is going to debut pretty soon, probably next month. So we're excited about that. Because in addition to cleaning up litter and beautifying towns, we're trying to just spread the message of like, hey, don't litter in the first place. I often say our ultimate goal is to put ourselves out of business, so that what we do is not necessary.
I mean, you talked about all those other towns. From what I understand, Somerset has the distinction of being the first town on the South Coast to join Keep Massachusetts Beautiful.
Yes, and somewhat unique in that it came out of the Economic Development Committee. Some of our chapters are, some are from associated with the Board of Health, or just volunteer groups, not always aligned or part of the town government. But that is an important part of what we do when we talk about the benefits of having a cleaner, greener, more beautiful town or city is, there's that economic component. So, people don't want to go to a downtown area that's trashy and filled with graffiti or what have you. They're less likely to want to spend their money there. So there is an economic component to all of this, including support from the local business community to help offset some of the expenses.
Now, what have some of these other towns around Massachusetts done for Keep Massachusetts Beautiful, as far as like cleanups and things to beautify their towns?
One of our biggest and most successful chapters is Keep Framingham Beautiful, which is a large. It's now a city of roughly, I think, around 75,000 people. Diverse community. And something special in the water there, because they just over the last several years, their volunteers have picked up and removed more than 200 tons of trash.
Wow.
In Framingham, and they do in addition to like a big spring cleanup that a lot of communities do, they do monthly events. They have something coming up in the fall. And they just have a really dedicated group of volunteers who are part of the Adopt a Street program, where individuals just go out on their own. So they're going to go walk their dog, they take their trash grabber tool, and they clean up as they go. And I should mention that we have a program called the Massachusetts Litter Cleanup Crew, where any individual or family can sign up. And we will ship a litter cleanup kit to them, currently at no cost, thanks to a grant we got from the Boston Athletic Association. So I have a package I'm going to give to you for a family here in Somerset that just signed up and ordered 4 kits. So it includes a litter grabber tool, a stylish t-shirt that's safety yellow, so you're more visible if you're on the side of the road, gloves, a reusable bag, and that's a very successful program.
The BAA wants to keep those roads clean for their races.
We pitched that. We pitched them. We actually every spring our volunteers in the communities on the Boston Marathon route. We have chapters in Natick, Framingham, Newton and so forth. And they clean up before the race every spring. They do a cleanup so that it looks better and it's safer for the runners. They're not tripping over bottles and cans on the roadsides. So yes, so Framingham is an example of a really active group that focuses on litter cleanup. And then there's other programs that we do in the categories of beautification with Adopt a Spot programs. You've probably seen those on public medians and public land. We give out grants for pollinator gardens, public pollinator gardens. So that's just one example.
Our town used to have a garden club that did those types of things,
Yeah.
but it doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, sadly, a lot of the kind of civic groups of the past, the Lions clubs, the Rotary clubs, and so forth, a lot of them are still going strong, but in some cases they've kind of trailed off. Yeah. And we need the next generation of younger people coming up to kind of step up and get involved in things like Keep Somerset Beautiful.
No. Our Lions Club is still going strong.
Good.
But can you tell me about what you're planning for the fall?
Definitely. You mentioned the Boston Marathon is sponsoring those safety kits, which ties in beautifully to the first cleanup that we are working on organizing, because our first cleanup is going to be just ahead of the Shirley May France 10K, which is a race also sponsored by the Economic Development Committee. And 2/3 of those that have registered for the race are not from Somerset. So we're expecting to have quite a few runners and families come and visit Somerset on the day of the race, which is September 20th. This upcoming September, and it will be a night race. So the race begins at 5 p.m. And that morning, the plan is to clean up the race route. So the race will span the length of Riverside, starting at Comfort Zone and sort of looping around at Pierce Beach, heading back down Riverside. And I am part of the Somerset running group in town, and we often run the Riverside route. We run through County Street. And if you've been out walking, you've been out running, walking your dogs, whatever it is, you notice all of this little bits of litter just scattered about. Yes, of course, some of it is, people just being negligent or maybe throwing things out their window or whatever. But some of it does accumulate just from windstorms. We get plenty of those here in Somerset. And, we've certainly been guilty where our trash can gets blown over and, we do our best to gather everything. But what can be done? Sometimes things just fly off and you cannot locate them and they end up in the street or wherever. So the first initiative, the first cleanup that we're working to organize, it probably won't be to the size of Mansfield's first of 600. But I'd be happy if we can clean up that space prior to the run. County Street also needs some love as you drive down, especially right outside, the high school, that area, just various places down county, down our main stretch of county where all the businesses are. Trash does end up accumulating and sort of sticking by the curbs at times, but, onto the sidewalks, into the grass, various spots throughout. And the parking spaces for the race, most of those will be at the high school. So we'd love for that area to be cleaned as well. I've had many individuals reach out via email, keepsomersetbeautiful@gmail.com, or through Facebook. We've started a Facebook group, Keep Somerset Beautiful, and I've received messages, emails. It's hard to keep up with them at times, but I hope if you have emailed me, I promise I'm getting back to you about their interest in being involved. So you mentioned, a family did sign up for the kits, which is great. I'll reshare a link to that. So if you would like to order your own kit free of charge, no cost to the individual, correct?
Correct.
And is it shipped to their house, or do
Yes.
you it is shipped to their
Yes.
house? Okay, so it seems pretty easy.
I did bring the one kit today just to save ourselves some shipping costs.
Perfect.
So-
That's absolutely great. And working on gathering some more interest for those that want to be involved in a steering committee, because if you're like myself and you don't want to wait for others to create action for you, you want to create action yourself, please join me. We need help to get this all off the ground. It's a big mission, but I'm not one to sit around and wait for somebody else to do something for me. And I know that there's definitely others in town who feel the same way as I do.
And how do they contact you? Through that Facebook page? Or
Yes, so I have a Facebook group, so you can find me on there, Heather Robertson, or you can email me at keepsomersetbeautiful@gmail.com, and I will get your email there.
Yeah, there's also a page on the Keep Massachusetts Beautiful website, so keepmassbeautiful.org. There is a page for Keep Somerset Beautiful on there, and that includes that information as well.
Great.
Yeah. And you're planning a cleanup for October?
So that was sort of initial brainstorming. I'm not sure at this point with the September one also happening if the October one will happen as well.
Okay.
But if we're able to garner enough support through volunteers in town, there's potential to still make that happen.
'Cause
But
you were hoping
I
that-
definitely can't do it by myself. So I need those who have energy and enthusiasm, looking to make a change in the community to reach out.
Because I remember you were hoping to maybe have some type of competition among the precincts.
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
who could gather the most trash.
Right, and I think Neil, one of the towns involved with their, I forget which chapter it was,
Yeah.
but they had a fun, fun-spirited competition between the different voting precincts in town. So I think they gathered all of their trash in different areas
Yeah.
in front of town hall,
Yeah.
and to see which precinct was able to knock it out of the park and have the most trash collected by their volunteers, which I thought was like a really fun idea, a little friendly competition. I know at times Somerset likes to have this or that or whatever, but I think bringing Somerset together for one cause of creating a more beautiful, vibrant community. I mean, what other way can you bring people together than by showing your community pride for the whole town?
Yeah. Maybe if you can't do it in October, it can be an Earth Day event next
Exactly.
year.
And Neil,
Right.
you can speak more to this, but you often encourage large cleanups to occur in the spring.
Well, yeah. Early spring is for like a community-wide cleanup is typically the best time. Before the vegetation grows in, and you can see what's out there. You don't have to contend with poison ivy or anything like that. And the winter. I mean, lately we have not had a lot of snow, so if it's 40 degrees out and sunny day, it's a beautiful day to go pick up litter. So in addition to those organized cleanups, I just want to reiterate that what individuals can do on their own street, their own neighborhood, by going out on their own to supplement those larger cleanups. And I'm mentioning Framingham again. You mentioned your Facebook group. Their Facebook group has like 3,600 members, and every day people just post photos of, hey, I filled up a bag of trash on Elm Street today, and then they have this. They do everything in a positive way. So rather than showing a photo of a bag of trash, they'll post a photo of something beautiful they saw while they were cleaning up the trash. So it might be a flower or a puppy or what have you. So that's the kind of spirit that we like to see. And it can be contagious, and there's also the kind of intangible benefit of just people getting to know other people in town through these events. We have a group in Somerville that goes out. They do like a monthly cleanup, and then they go out and they have a couple of beers afterwards, or depending on time of day, they might go out for coffee afterwards. People are meeting each other, meeting people they might not otherwise meet, and forming community connections.
Talking about litter, and I used to notice a lot of this when I used to run Riverside Avenue practically every day for years. And I actually had a friend mention this to me the other day, and I don't know if you guys get involved in this or not, but Nips bottles.
I knew you were going.
Do you take any position on that, or is?
Yeah, well, I'll speak for Keep Massachusetts Beautiful. So yeah, nip litter, for people not familiar with nips, that's the small liquor bottles that used to only be able to get on an airplane. Now they're kind of sold like candy within the liquor stores. So they are a popular item here in Massachusetts. I was told that on a per capita basis, we're the #1 market for Fireball in the nation.
Wow.
So, go Massachusetts. So yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people will drink them and toss them out their car window, which obviously we don't want them drinking and driving. So there are a couple of approaches to that problem. Some towns have passed bans on the sale. I think it's 9 or 10 communities in Massachusetts. Obviously the liquor retailers are not don't support that because it's bad for business. And then another potential solution is adding them to the bottle bill. So if you buy a can of beer or a can of soda, there's a 5-cent deposit, and you can get your nickel back. And nips were not prevalent when that bill was passed in 1983, so they're not included. Personally, I feel like they should be, and I think the deposit should be raised for all items, because the nickel is pretty much meaningless to many people today.
I used to save them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the only thing that hasn't changed in price since 1983. So that those are two remedies. The liquor retailers have formed a group called Pick Up Massachusetts, where they're trying to encourage their customers to drink and responsibly and dispose of their empty bottles responsibly. They do sometimes sponsor cleanups and provide funding for local chapters, so that you might want to reach out to them. But yeah, it is a big problem across the state.
Under Keep Massachusetts Beautiful, are there grants available for the local chapters?
I mentioned the pollinator gardens. We get funding from a company called Edrington, which coincidentally is a liquor company. They provide $10,000 a year in funding that we give out to our local chapters in increments of usually $500 up to $2,500 for planting of pollinator-friendly public gardens, so on public property. So we'll be announcing this year's grantees in September. And then we give an annual scholarship of $2,500 to a high school student who will be pursuing post-high school education, in the environmental sciences. And we favor applicants from our chapters, although in some cases we have given grants to people who are not associated with our chapters. And while I'm talking about students, I just want to mention we have a new program we just launched called Students for Environmental Action in Massachusetts. So the idea is to encourage high school students to form a club at their high school. Now some schools already have environmental clubs, but ours is focused on our key issues, and it's action oriented. So that's why that word is in the title. So it's about getting out, cleaning up your school grounds, or doing community cleanups, and also educating fellow students, including the younger grades, going into classrooms and giving lessons on these topics.
Our school has an Envirothon club, which
Okay.
competes in competitions.
Okay. Right, so this could be something that they could incorporate into what they're already doing if there's interest.
So do you think all of this, you've been around since 2008, do you think it's had a big impact on
In the
making these
communities
towns?
where we have chapters, absolutely. I can see the difference in my town when I go into a neighboring town. You can sometimes see it right at the border. It's like, well, this is pretty clean, and then boom, wow, this is not. So, So definitely within our communities. Now we're in roughly, like I said, 42 communities. There are 351 towns and cities in Massachusetts, so we have a long way to go. So that's why we're really pushing to get our state leaders to do something about just raising awareness about littering. There used to be, I think we're of a similar age, where there were public service announcements on TV. The so-called crying Indian ad that was from Keep America Beautiful, right? I mean, everyone remembers that. There was give a hoot, don't pollute, don't be a litter bug. Yeah, you couldn't escape hearing those messages as a young person.
I remember going out to Texas one time and hearing "Don't mess with Texas."
Yes, they still have that slogan. Rhode Island launched a statewide campaign called Clean Roads a couple of years ago. There's Nobody Trashes Tennessee. There's several others. But at the state level in Massachusetts, the only one who ever cared about the issue of litter was Mike Dukakis, and that was a long time ago. Yeah. So we are trying to get a bill passed in the State House, and you can go on our website. Right on the homepage, you'll see a link to it that would create a litter prevention and cleanup task force. So basically a study group that would get together, include the Department of Transportation, Department of Tourism, to get together and then put together some recommendations to the state as to what we can do to clean up our highways, our beaches, our waterways. So we're hoping that we can get that passed and then actually implement some policy changes and some awareness campaigns, education to young people. Like I said, they're not getting that simple message of clean up after yourself, right?
Keep Massachusetts Beautiful. Is that its own organization, or are you under some type of government organization?
No, we are a 501c3 nonprofit,
Okay.
Separate from anyone else. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you raise your money? How do you?
Well, I was hoping you were going to write me a check now.
We're a nonprofit too.
Yeah, we have some business sponsors, which people can see on our website who those companies are. We get donations from individuals, grants, and so forth. So it's kind of just every year we start with a zero budget and figure out a way to generate some revenue.
So Heather, is that something you'll be doing locally for the local chapter? Will you be looking for sponsors?
Definitely. So we are in need of sponsors. So if you are a local business and would like to sponsor in the way of, even just water or, a monetary donation, but even adopt a spot. So if you are, on County Street and you want to, just adopt the spot, your curb, that would be wonderful. Talk to your employees. Hey, before your shift, if there's any trash on your way in, just clean it up and we can toss it in our trash. I know I worked for a company back in Rochester that they prided themselves on having beautiful stores, and the owner of the company down to somebody who just started in the bakery or whatever, the president of the company would stop if he saw trash on his way in. He would pick it up and he would put it in the trash where it belonged. So everything that we're doing starts with the leaders of our town. And whether you're a leader in town government, if you're a leader as a parent, as a friend, as a neighbor, if you see others doing something positive for the community, you're more likely to follow suit than if you're just to point fingers and say, hey, you dropped your trash. What more of a positive impact can we make than, leading by example? So I think, if you are interested in sponsorship, I'd love for you to reach out to me at keepsomersetbeautiful@gmail.com. But, if you just want to be another leader in our community, please reach out.
Yeah, I should also mention we have a program that targets business owners called Employers for Clean Communities. So through our website, they can go and order cleanup supplies, which include safety vests that can be customized, with the company name on there. So if their employees are out there cleaning up, people will see, hey, it's Tony's Pizza. Thank you, Tony's Pizza, for keeping our town clean. So
We have a lot very places in Somerset, so.
yes, I visited one last time I was here, or one of the Italian restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. See, it's already bringing in economic development just by having you come down.
Yeah, yeah. But, if you are, just think about, you're heading into a store to go and shop, and their parking lot has, papers swirling around. You walk in, you get the shopping cart, you see papers in the shopping cart, on the floor, against the wall, that just accumulate, create, they've been there so long, they start disintegrating, right? Do you feel like immediately happy to shop at the store? Or do you feel, I've definitely been in stores where I've had that feeling of like, I wish I could be somewhere else right now. But if you're in this store that is so beautiful and maintained and, clearly showing pride in the space that they're in, you're not filled with those negative emotions. You're just, see what you want to see. You see the beautiful store, the fruits, the vegetables, whatever it is that you're shopping for. That same theory applies to the town that you step into. If you drive off the expressway and you're greeted by a median or space that's just, accumulating these bits of, paper, plastic, whatever, is this where you want to step out of your car and go see the sights? Or are you going to keep driving to the next town and see what that one has to offer? So, with that first initiative that we're trying to start in September, for September 20th, ahead of the Shirley May France 10K, we want the runners, their families, other visitors to see our beautiful, riverside community. We're right on the water. We have all this beautiful waterfront, and we want people to see that. We want them to see the sparkling water with the sun shining down, the boats in the marina, birds landing into the water. What beautiful nature we have to offer here in Somerset. We don't want them to see something rolling across the road as they're running by, or as they're walking down the street, ready to cheer on their loved one. So I think,
or floating in the river.
or floating,
Yeah,
yeah.
key point
That's
that
true, too.
all this litter we see on the roadsides, much of it eventually will make its way into the river and to the ocean. I actually went kayaking last Friday on the Providence River downtown, and it was beautiful, but of course I couldn't help myself, so we kept pulling over to pull out plastic water bottles that were floating in the river. It did detract from the experience. So for those people who love to be on the water, boaters and so forth, by participating in Keep Somerset Beautiful, you can keep the river clean as well.
All right. At the end, is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to get across before we go?
I would just like to reiterate that I'm really excited to start this chapter, Keep Somerset Beautiful in Somerset. I think it can provide a lot of positivity in town and help spur some economic growth, because those that visit our town, maybe someday they'll want to do business in our town. So let's keep the momentum going. We're just over 100 members on Facebook now, and we've only really been active over the past couple of weeks or so. So let's keep the membership growing. Let's keep the interest growing. I've loved the support so far from all of the people in town with their energy and excitement for this, of those that I've spoken to so far. So I'm just really excited to keep it going, and looking forward to hearing from more in town that are interested in joining the initiative, joining the chapter.
Yeah, great points. I would just reiterate, the positivity message. There's a lot of political divisiveness these days. This is something that actually brings communities together. I sometimes joke, but I'm really serious when I say that litter is the issue that can unite America, right? I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. I don't know anyone who likes it. And most people don't know what to do about it. They're like, well, whose job is it? And the answer is it's everyone's job to clean it up and to prevent it from happening in the first place. So by joining local chapter like Keep Somerset Beautiful, people can make a positive impact. Students can earn community service hours. So I just encourage people to get involved and take action, which is part of our mission at Keep Massachusetts Beautiful.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Somerset Showcase. Keep your neighborhoods clean and get in touch with Heather about joining Keep Somerset Beautiful.